The night shift at the gas station was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator by the back wall. Tanya leaned on the counter, her eyes burning from lack of sleep. It was 2:17 a.m. and her feet ached inside her cheap shoes. She had just come from cleaning offices for 6 hours before coming here. Her second job started every night at midnight, and it paid $9 an hour. When her coworker texted that he wasn't coming in, she didn't even bother getting angry anymore. She just sighed, grabbed her coffee, and kept going. She stared at the gas pump outside, watching the cold air fog against the glass, thinking about her rent due next week. Tanya was 34, a single mum from Dayton, Ohio. She'd been working since she was 16. Diners, hotels, cleaning, grocery stores. Every job paid too little. Every raise disappeared into bills. She used to believe hard work would fix things, but now she wasn't sure. She worked harder than anyone she knew, yet her bank account always went dry by the second week. Her apartment was small. One bedroom she shared with her 8-year-old son, Malik. At night, when she got home from her second shift, he was usually asleep on the couch, cartoons still playing. She'd tuck a blanket over him and stare at him for a while, wondering if this was the kind of life he'd remember. The sound of the fridge running filled the silence. Sometimes she'd cry quietly, not from sadness, but from exhaustion. The breaking point came one Friday afternoon in February. She'd picked up Malik from school early because he wasn't feeling well. When she opened the fridge, there wasn't much. A few eggs, some ketchup, an almost empty jug of milk. Payday was still 3 days away. She checked her wallet, $8.24. Malik sat at the table with his head down, pale and tired. "Mum, can we get soup?" he asked softly. She didn't answer right away. She knew she couldn't afford even the gas to drive to the store and back, not with the needle near empty. So she boiled water and dropped in the last 2 eggs, pretending it was enough. Later that night, after he fell asleep, she sat in the dark kitchen staring at the bills spread across the table. Rent notice, car insurance, cell phone, electric. She whispered to herself, "I can't keep doing this." It wasn't the first time she said it, but this time it felt like something broke inside her. A few days later, while cleaning an office building downtown, Tanya overheard 2 women talking in the break room. One of them was complaining about her no-spend month. The other laughed and said, "You'll save a ton if you stick with it." Tanya didn't understand what that meant, but the phrase stuck in her head. No-spend month. On her bus ride home that night, she Googled it on her phone. She read stories of people who challenged themselves to spend nothing extra for 30 days. No eating out, no online shopping, no extras at all. She felt something small shift inside her. It wasn't excitement exactly, but more like curiosity. She thought, "I've never tried to stop spending. I've only tried to earn more." That weekend, she sat at her kitchen table with a piece of notebook paper and wrote every single thing she spent money on. Rent, gas, food, snacks, coffee, Malik's toys, streaming apps, cigarettes. She saw, for the first time, where her money went. It was embarrassing. All those little $5 things she thought didn't matter. They added up to more than $150 a month. She didn't even have $150 in savings. So she decided to try her own no-spend month. She wasn't sure how she'd do it, but she told herself, just 30 days. The first week was miserable. She was tired, cranky, and craving every small comfort she used to buy. A takeout coffee, a sandwich from the gas station, even a cheap pack of cookies. But she forced herself to stop. Every time she wanted to spend, she pictured Malik's face when the fridge was empty. That image was stronger than her cravings. By the third week, she started feeling different, not happy but clear. She saw how often she used spending as a way to feel in control, even though it was what kept her stuck. She started bringing leftovers to work, brewing her coffee at home, and walking to the store instead of driving. The changes were small, but for the first time, she felt power coming back into her hands. When the month ended, she had saved $137. It wasn't much, but it was the first time she'd ever finished a month with money left over. She looked at that number like it was proof that her life could change. The next month, she started reading about budgeting. She didn't understand most of it, but she learned one rule that stuck. Give every dollar a job. She made envelopes for each category: rent, gas, food, savings, emergencies. She wrote the amounts on the front and forced herself to stay inside those limits. It was hard. Some weeks she failed, but instead of giving up, she tried again. Slowly, she started to see patterns. The way she bought things to feel less tired or lonely. The way she ignored prices because she felt she deserved something nice. Those thoughts used to feel harmless, but now she saw they were traps. 6 months later, things looked different. Her car still made noises. Her apartment was still small, but her bills were always paid on time. She had $800 saved in a small credit union account. When her cousin asked to borrow money, she said no for the first time in her life. It felt strange, almost rude, but also freeing. Her biggest change wasn't the money, it was how she saw herself. She no longer believed she was doomed to stay broke just because she didn't earn much. She saw how every dollar was a decision, every habit a small brick in a new foundation. One Saturday, she took Malik to the park. They sat on a bench eating sandwiches they made at home. He laughed as he chased pigeons, his sneakers still clean from school. Tanya watched him and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not happiness that bursts and fades, but quiet peace that stays. Her phone buzzed with a text from her boss asking if she could pick up another shift that night. She looked at Malik, then typed back, "Can't tonight. Spending time with my boy." She didn't feel guilty. For once, she didn't feel desperate, just steady. She was still earning little, but she wasn't broke anymore. Not in spirit, not in control. She'd broken the cycle by learning something most people never do, that being broke starts in the mind, not the wallet. A lot of people think the only way to stop being broke is to earn more money. It makes sense on the surface. More money should mean less stress. But for many people, it doesn't work that way. They get a raise, or a new job, or an extra shift, and the same thing happens. The bills grow right along with it. The balance never changes. What Tanya learned, and what her story shows, is that the real trap isn't how little you make. It is how little control you have over what you make. Most people don't notice where their money goes. They just keep moving from paycheck to paycheck, always chasing the next dollar and wondering why nothing changes. Tanya didn't escape that cycle by working harder. She was already doing that. She escaped it by slowing down enough to see where her money was actually going, by becoming aware. Awareness is the first step to change, and it costs nothing. When you finally face your numbers, every expense, every purchase, it hurts. It feels like staring at something ugly you'd rather ignore. But that's the moment when the cycle begins to break. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. You start to notice habits you didn't know you had, the small things you buy to feel better, the little comforts that quietly drain your paycheck. Tanya's no-spend month wasn't about being cheap. It was about building discipline, about proving to herself that she could say no when her emotions said yes. Every person who wants to change their financial life will face that same test. You have to learn to live with the discomfort of not giving in. The truth is, being broke isn't only about income. It's about the way we use money to escape feelings we don't want to face: stress, boredom, loneliness, exhaustion. When you stop using money to fix emotions, you start using it for purpose. You start deciding instead of reacting. Tanya's small changes were slow and quiet, but they mattered. She didn't win the lottery. She didn't find a better job. She didn't discover a secret formula. She simply became careful. And that word careful was the foundation of freedom. Careful doesn't mean fearful. It means you start paying attention. You count what you have, you plan what you'll spend, and you respect every dollar because it represents time you'll never get back. When you start seeing your money that way, you treat it differently. The hardest part is patience. People who've lived in struggle for a long time want fast results. They want the big change right now, the raise, the new car, the better life. But real change doesn't come that way. It comes through small, steady steps that build on each other. 1 month of discipline turns into 2, 2 turns into 6, 1 saved dollar becomes 10, 10 becomes 100. There's no magic in it, just patience, consistency, and control. Another lesson from Tanya's story is about self-respect. For years, she believed she had to say yes to everything, every extra shift, every request for help, every favor. That came from fear. When you live broke for long enough, You start to think you owe everyone something. You say yes to survive. But part of breaking the cycle is learning to say no, not out of pride, but out of respect for your own limits. Saying no is how you protect your peace. It's how you start keeping something for yourself. Time, money, energy. And when you protect what you have, you start to grow it. Being broke is heavy on the mind. It makes you feel smaller, weaker, less than others. You start believing your life will always be like this. That belief becomes a prison. But once you prove to yourself, even in a small way, that you can control one part of it, the walls begin to crack. Tanya's first $137 wasn't much, but it changed everything. It was proof that her effort mattered. She wasn't powerless anymore. Every person who has ever been stuck needs a moment like that. One small win that shows you are not doomed to repeat the same story. That's how the cycle breaks. Not through luck, but through small acts of control repeated over time. There's also something quiet but powerful in how Tanya chose to spend her time. She stopped chasing every dollar and started protecting her time with her son. That's another kind of wealth. The kind most people overlook while trying to make more money. You can work every hour of your life and still end up empty if you never get to live it. Money should serve you, not own you. That's what control really means. Not the number in your bank account, but who's calling the shots, you or your habits. If you feel stuck in the same loop, always short, always tired, always behind, you don't have to change everything at once. Start small. Write down what you spend. Face the numbers, no matter how ugly they are. Pick one habit to change, just one, and do it for a month. Then another month. Then another. You'll start to notice that your choices feel different. You'll start to see that money isn't the enemy. It's just a tool. A slow, stubborn tool that only works when you respect it. And respect comes from effort, from learning, trying, failing, and trying again. That's how real people change their lives. Tanya's story isn't about winning, it's about waking up. It's about realizing that even when you earn so little, you can still build a better path, one careful choice at a time. Maybe you've lived parts of Tanya's story, the long hours, the worry, the quiet hope that life can still turn around. It can. Change doesn't come fast, but it does come when you start caring for your money the way you care for your future. If this story meant something to you, take a second to tap like or leave a small comment below. It helps more people find these stories. And if you'd like to hear more, you can quietly join us by subscribing to Wealthy Mindset Stories.